Kicking back on this summer breeze. Welcome to Double K's Classroom. Class is officially in session.
The following Four Aces production is for mature audiences only. Listener discretion is highly advised.
Hello and good evening, y'all. And welcome to this late edition here at 10:45 at Double K's Classroom. Sorry it took me so long to get on air. I was too busy or not too busy. I was busy recording another amazing episode of the Cheap Pop Podcast for y'all. Check us out on Sunday this week as we discuss everything from video games to pro wrestling to DC TV to movies to some new announcements made by Marvel and the upcoming Disney Plus. So, yeah, check us out. That's Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com. So, what I'm going to be talking about today is that there World Series. I know a lot of people may not have watched because of the fact that it wasn't the A's who got bounced in the first round, unfortunately, by Tampa Bay. But it was a great series, and it was a unique series. Like, let me first start off by saying it was amazing that the Nats were there in the first place, because the Nats ended up beating the Dodgers, who were a team that I didn't think would be beaten, yet alone by a team like the Nats. I'll say, by the Nats, it was like, wow, dude. Like, so we go into the World Series. First of all, you got the Nats there, and you have them playing what is effectively the best team in baseball after they proved themselves by knocking off the Yankees, I believe, in 6 games. The Houston Astros. You're talking about Greinke, Verlander, Cole. You got on the other side, you got Scherzer, Strasburg. These guys, this turned out to be a damn good. A damn good World Series. Starting with Game 1, you had starting pitchers Max Scherzer going up against, I believe it was Garrett Cole. Yeah, Garrett Cole. Cole outpitches Scherzer effectively because Cole gave up. Scherzer outpitches Cole, only giving up 2 runs in 5 innings to Cole's 5 runs in 6 innings or 7 innings. And They end up losing 5-4 to the Nationals. Now, this will begin to start a trend in this World Series of road teams losing. And that was an issue to me because I like to see home teams win. I like home fans to get the victory, to get the ability to be able to preach for victories. So it was a unique. It started a unique trend in this World Series with the Nationals taking Game 1. Game 2, which also took place in Houston, because we're at the 2-3-2 format with the World Series, tied up quick early in the inning. It saw a pitching matchup of Steven Strasburg taking on, who hadn't lost their postseason at all, taking on Justin Verlander. Verlander gets roughed up early, giving up 2 runs. So does Strasburg. But where it landed was in the sixth or seventh, when Ryan Priestley and Josh James Justin Verlander proceeded to give up 6 runs to give the Astros an 8-2 lead. They put on 4 more before the game was over and ended up winning 12-3 to win Game 2 in both away games for this year's World Series. Once again, a very unique setup, a very unique situation. Road team wins first 2 games. So here I'm thinking, all right, the Nats about to run away with this World Series. I can't believe that they're at this point that they're still in this position, or that they are in this position, up 2-0. We'll go to Game 3, where the Astros then travel to Washington. You would think that this would mean that Washington would be like at least win 2 out of 3, close it out before they got to come home. But what do? Well, Game 3 is Zach Greinke, who only gives up 1 earned run, taking on Anibal Sanchez, who gets shelled for 4 runs. The Astros go up early 2-0. Nationals come back in the 4th, make it 2-1. Astros score the final runs of the game in the 5th and 6th, 1 apiece, to go up 4-1 and close it out 4-1 to finally get to 2-1 in the series. So now Washington's up 2-1. Now watch this, guys. We'll do one more game, and then we're going to take a quick commercial break before I come back with the lesson of the day. Game 4. Astros come out, put up 2 early, put up 2 in the 4th. They're up 4-0. Washington finally gets a run in the 6th, make it 4-1. Houston puts up a 4 spot in the 7th to go up 8-1. This point, you just saw Jose Urquidy, I don't even know who that is, for the Astros, and Patrick Corbin for the Nationals. At this point, it's tied up 2-2. I want to say, and so 8-1 victory ties it up 2-2. The Astros are starting to show why a lot of people considered them the best team in all of baseball this year, not just because of their record. All right, but like I said, we're going to take a commercial break. We'll come back and talk the final 3 games. What's up, Saint? Got the Saint in the house in the chat room. If you're listening in and want to chime in, go ahead and chime in the chat room. What you doing, Saint? How you doing? It was crazy World Series, man. So far, we got 4 games played. Road team then won all 4. We'll keep talking about how that turns out right after this promo break. And then we'll come back with a lesson of the day where I want to talk a little bit about why I don't necessarily feel sorry for Bryce Harper.
Interruption in progress. Now hijacking into ANS 2.0 immersion rig. Now simulating the amazing nerd show. Featuring comics.
And Batman's like, you're safe here and everything, but the Joker all of a sudden pulls out a gun and shoots himself.
Movies.
People fight with lightsabers. What the hell do you want? I mean, in every one of these movies, there's a lightsaber battle.
Yeah, no problem. I'm gonna rewatch it a million times.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, give me something more.
Wrestling.
That would be awesome. Oh my god, just a monster. Fans would be like, holy, what the hell's going on? What happened to Jericho?
Horror.
It starts off like any other home invasion type of story, and then it just goes crazy.
And more.
Hey, this is Christian,
Hey, this is Damon.
and we are the Amazing Nerd Show.
Make sure to download us on all your favorite podcast platforms.
So, what's up? Steve Fingerstyles here, the host of the podcast spelled DA, of course. Tune in each and every week to hear what pisses me off, what angers me, what I make fun of, and of course, my crazy rants. I also have incompetent co-hosts, cool guests, and a silent producer that sucks. So what more do you need from a podcast? You can listen on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, SoundCloud, and the Pod Bros Network. Peace.
Tune in, folks. It's now time for Double K's Lesson of the Day.
All right, look. Everybody's talking about, oh, woe is Bryce Harper because Bryce Harper chose to walk away from the Nationals, and the Nationals ended up winning the World Series this year, which is a little bit of heartbreak. It's just like, wow, dude, like that sucks. The minute I leave a team, they win the World Series. And not only that, but the team I went to was better last year and kind of took a dive after adding me. Look, as it was said in this group that I'm in called the Elite Sports Club by one dude, Bryce Harper has 330 million reasons not to give a damn about the fact that the Nationals won the World Series. Yeah, it sucks not to have a ring, but I'm pretty sure he's one of those players like Mike Trout that one way or another will end up with at least one World Series ring at some point in his career. It just sucks that it could have been this year. Now, I'm going to tell you, like, from what I heard, there was only about There was only about maybe you're talking about over 10 years, like $2 to $4 million a year difference. So you're talking about the difference between like 24 and 28 million, 24, 29 million. I'm sorry. Once you get above 10 million, really, what's the difference? What's the difference in $4 million? $4 or $5 million a year. Like, really, what's the difference? Like, I understand you want to maximize your potential and everything, but like, real talk, like, what is the difference between $4 to $5 million extra a year? And I say that because at the end of the day, man, like, we need to realize that sometimes it's better to take the lower contract and be able to take the lower contract and be able to play on a winning team than it is to take the higher contract. But if I'm Bryce Harper, nah, I don't care. I got my money, which is what I wanted, which is the whole reason why I left anyway, is because I wanted my money. So he got his money. He's a happy man. There's no reason for him to feel sad. Eventually, he will get his World Series title. Now, nah, didn't happen now. He walked away 1 year too early. But oh well, that's the way the cookie crumbles, right? My lesson of the day, stay where the fuck you at, because you never know what the hell can happen. Y'all take it easy. We're going to listen to a couple more promo cuts, and then we'll be back to talk the rest of the World Series right here on Double K's Classroom. 4Aces Presents Radio Network, Spreaker.com. You know, now might be a good time to go ahead and mention the rest of the lineup for this week. We got Mr. Deacon's Experience coming on tomorrow. Sundays, we got Inspiration Radio, or we may or may not, but that's part of our Sunday lineup. Brick House. Hopefully, we'll be able to kick off West Coast Bias this week. And also we'll have the Cheap Pop Podcast, which I was telling you about earlier, on at 5 p.m. We got Lip Gloss and Mike's on, and as well as Now versus Then. So check us out for our Sunday lineup specifically. That's when we have our biggest spots of shows on. And then I believe Monday is Dirty Talk 101. And then we got a show coming up on Tuesdays, and then Thursdays is Lovely Radio. And next week I'll be back with K-Double's 5th period music class, because it is, y'all can't hear that snap, but 2 snaps. It is Diva Month, as we are celebrating Mariah Carey's career on the next episode of K-Double's 5th period music class, KD5P. That'll be next Friday on that 8th. All right. So back to those promos, and then we'll be back right after that. to talk a little bit more World Series. Thanks for listening.
Tune in, folks. It's now time for Double K's Lesson of the Day.
From the galactic depths of the comic book universe comes the ghosts of the stratosphere, ready to galvanize and energize your mind with the latest of comic book news and reviews. And why are you stopping me? Yes, that's much better. Hi, this is Andy Larson for Ghosts of the Stratosphere. Join me every week along with my co-hosts Rob Stewart and Chad Smith, as well as a cavalcade of fantastic comic book guests, as we dish out heaping helpings of the greatest and latest of comic book news and reviews. New shows posted every Tuesday with bonus shows every first Friday of the month. You can find us on iTunes and Stitcher under Ghosts of the Stratosphere, as well as on our website, www.gotstratosphere.com. Hope to see you soon, folks.
Game ticket, $50. Hot dog, $8. Team store item, $25.
I told him I can beat him with one hand tied behind my back, with some glasses on, with one eye lens out, with some flip-flops on in the rain.
Having to listen to someone's dumb sports opinions? Worthless. Some people shouldn't talk sports. For everyone else, there's the Unspoken Podcast, available on most podcasting platforms, and on the web at the unsportspodcast.weebly.com.
And I'm back. So, all right, y'all. Let's say, all right, so World Series. So the final three games were the most interesting. We went over the first four. Nationals win game 1, 5-4. Game 2, they win 12-3 in dominating fashion. Astros take game 4 or game 3 in Washington. Tate to also take game 4, 4-1 and 8-1. Game 5 was also in Washington. And guess what? For the third straight game, the Houston Astros only allow the Washington Nationals one run and win 7-1, scoring 2 in the second, fourth, 1 in the eighth, and 2 in the ninth to take a 3-2 lead heading back into Houston for the next game. So once again, just like you thought the Nationals should have this wrapped up heading back to Washington, at this point it looks like the Astros should have it wrapped up. Garrett Cole pitched 7 strong innings for that one against Joe Ross. All right, so yeah, it looked like the Astros had this on lock. So game 6 rolls around. And what happens? The Nationals decide they want to play some baseball. I'll say the Nationals decided that they were just going to get it done and tie up this series. So on Tuesday night, December 29th, the Nationals started out down 2-1 and ended up winning 7-2 in Houston. Now, mind you, folks, we're through 6 games, and if you have not noticed, not a single home team has won a game. Nationals took the 2 in Houston. Astros took the 3 in Washington. Now, Nationals have taken the third one in Houston. So you figure odds are you got 8 innings out of Steven Strasburg in that one. And Justin Verlander got lit up. So I thought it was a lock that the Astros had this. There's no way the Astros don't throw everything they got in the books at the Nationals in this game. It's game 7. They got to do it. What do the Astros do? They play well. They get up 2-0. I'll say they go up 2-0, and it looks like they're cruising, and then they proceed to take out their starting pitcher Zach Greinke, who had only given up 2 runs to that point, and put in Will Harris, who gives up another run. Then Osuna comes in and gives up another run. Then Joe Smith comes in and gives up two more, and the final score is 6-2. And the Washington Nationals are not only your new World Series champions, but they've just completed something that has never been done before in the history of all four sports. And that is complete a series victory without winning a single home game. You heard me right. Not a single home game was won. Every road team won their game. How does that happen? That sucks for every home fan that went to a World Series game, because that means every single fan of both teams that went to their team's home game to cheer them on witnessed a loss or multiple losses. I'm not going to sit here and say it's bad for the game, but fuck. Holy shit. That would suck. I get flipped out if I go to an A's game and they lose one game. It makes me feel like I'm a jinx to them, and I stop going to games. Y'all gotta, man, wrap your mind around that. You buy tickets to games 3, 4, and 5 to the World Series, bro. And what happens? Your team loses every single game. That's got to be disheartening. Beat down on you, shame. Like, that just kills me. How in the world yeah, just wow, beat down. So congratulations, big round of applause and congratulations to the Washington Nationals for winning the 2019 World Series. They deserved it. They had one of the best runs we've ever seen. Steven Strasburg, undefeated, World Series MVP, undefeated through the postseason. Probably MOP, most important player of the tournament. I don't know if they're going to go back again next year, but all I know is the Dodgers need to get their ship straight. The Astros need to get their ship straight because their team's coming. If people think the A's are done with what happened to them this season, they're not done. If anybody thinks that the Nationals are done, they're not done. Like, there's going to be a lot of competition next year. The Phillies are getting better. I can't wait to see what Major League Baseball turns out. That's it for me for tonight, y'all. I'll be back in a couple of weeks to discuss how my fantasy football season is going, as this is a 3-episode month for Double K's Classroom. So y'all will hear from me again in 2 weeks. Next week, remember, I got K-Double's Fifth Period Music Class coming up, featuring the one, the only, the incomparable Miss Mariah Carey. And be sure to check out all the shows that I was telling you about mid-show, because we here at 4 Aces Presents work hard to make sure that you get the best quality and that's possible. So thank you for listening in tonight, and we'll see you in a week. Peace.